Alright guys, this is the Worker Seagull. 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 Caw-caw, bitch! And I bought every single colorway so you wouldn't have to. Green, khaki, pink, purple, and Betty White. The Worker Seagull is basically just a compact version of the phenomenal Worker Harrier blaster. A Worker Harrier CQB, if you will. And that's a ring to it, doesn't it? Because even that would be a better name than what they stuck this thing with. Seagull. The Worker Seagull is yet another spring-powered, pump-action, mag-fed Nerf blaster, but it's super compact. It's just like a smaller version of the Harrier. Like I said, a Worker Harrier CQB, where of course, the CQB stands for Close Quarters Battle. And with this
tight, sexy little body,
that's exactly where the Seagull excels. So if you thought the Worker Harrier looked cool, but you wanted something a little smaller, then you might want to check this one out. Because let me tell you, the Harrier ain't taking down no corners like the Seagull does. The Harrier ain't taking down no corners like this one, baby. The Worker Seagull is the single greatest option for a CQB blaster out there, besides maybe the KM9 Unicorn blaster. And speaking of the Unicorn, make sure you leave a like if you want to see me do a Seagull versus Unicorn video. Back to the Seagull. In the box, you'll find the blaster itself, duh. But this is just like the Harrier, so the blaster isn't in one piece. Some assembly is required. You'll find the barrel, the main receiver, the foregrip, the sights, the Worker Scar Barrel muzzle device, an extra spring, an extra barrel, the tactical rails, the new 15-round curved Talon mag called the Dragon Claw, a bag of Worker half-length darts, and a goodie bag filled with some screws and O-rings and other knickknacks and paddywhacks. Now that the blaster is assembled, let's do an external overview. Starting from the front, there's no in-strike barrel. The Seagull features the same quick change threaded barrel system as the Worker Harrier, so you can just grab the barrel and unscrew it to switch over to another one. The Seagull comes with two barrels, one 8.25-inch barrel and a longer 12.2-inch barrel, which is the same as the smaller barrel that was included with the Harrier last time. There are also two different springs here, so just like before, you can mix and match springs and barrels to find the exact level of performance you're looking for. The Seagull is also compatible with a lot of the Harrier's upgrades, so the possibilities are, again, virtually endless. The Seagull has 3 Picatinny rails, including one full-length rail across the top, and 2 short boys, one on either side of the blaster near the muzzle. This is one short of the Harrier, but sacrifices must be made to get a blaster this small. Down to the priming handle, we have a super compact CQB-style foregrip here. It seems small, but depending on how you grip it, it's perfect. Also, there's still another Picatinny rail underneath the grip, so you can pop on whichever foregrip you prefer, but I'll be sticking with the included grip. The pump action here is still smooth, but it's noticeably stiffer than the Harrier, and I believe this is because they use the same exact return spring as before. And the Seagull is a lot smaller and has a shorter stroke than the Harrier. The return spring is neat here, but I'd recommend maybe experimenting with cutting a few coils off the return spring or removing it entirely. This should bring the Seagull back up to the buttery smooth prime it's supposed to have. The magazine well here is very straightforward. It has a slight flare just like with the Harrier, and it's angled upwards in the front, and this makes mag insertion an absolute breeze. And speaking of mags, the Seagull comes with a brand new 15-round curved Talon magazine called the Dragon Claw, a marked improvement from the puny 6-round sniper mag that came with the Worker Harrier. You can buy these mags separately if you really like the look. They come in every single color the Seagull does, so you can mix and match. And you can use standard Worker Talon mags here too. The paddle style mag release here is the same, and it's perfectly serviceable, even more so than on the Harrier because there's no obtrusive handguard to get in the way. The trigger pull is silky smooth. It's like butter, baby! And the trigger is full metal and has the flat face with textured ridges to make sure your finger doesn't slip. The Seagull was originally said to feature a high rate of fire with slam fire, which made sense for its SMG style size and design. But that was a misinterpretation or something because the Seagull definitely does not feature slam fire. You can still blast darts as fast as you can cock it back and shoot, and you can still de-prime the blaster, which I love. The pistol grip here is still amazingly comfortable. It still features a fantastic rubberized sleeve, sans the handguard, so it's even more appealing now. You can easily hit the mag release with your firing hand or your offhand, although the Dragon Claw mag does not gravity drop.
Nope.
Back to the top, we get a really sweet pair of ABS sights this time with those precious tritium inserts that you know I love. The Harrier had built-in ABS sights on the shell, but they were way too low to actually use them. Lastly, we have the shoulder stock, if you can call it that. I'd much rather refer to it as a coat hanger, because the Seagull can hang up in your closet with this thing perfectly. Seriously. Other than that, it's pretty useless as an actual stock. It looks cool and it fits in with the CQB aesthetic, but much like the Harrier Sniper Mag, it's completely useless. Luckily though, it's attached to a standard M4 buffer tube, so you can unscrew this stock and replace it with a nice aftermarket M4 stock. On the bottom side of the buffer tube is a spot to store the Seagull's Allen key, but that hole in the end of the buffer tube from the Harrier is still there if you'd rather store it somewhere a little more secure. You can totally break down the Seagull with this one Allen key, so you definitely don't want to lose it or else you won't be able to break down the blaster on the fly. Pop out these 2 screws on the side of the blaster and 1 on the end of the top tactical rail, and you can slide the Seagull apart for upgrades or maintenance. This is fairly easy, but still pales in comparison to blasters with quick takedown pins or toolless spring retainers. Anyway, enough talking. Let's shoot this thing. But first, subscribe to my goddamn channel now.
Wait, Daddy, chill.
I need a real stock. For the firing test, this is just not gonna do. So I'm gonna throw a quick airsoft stock on here that I got laying around. Perfect. First, I'm going to be doing a control group, so to speak. I'm going to use the white blaster. The white Seagull has the shortest spring and the shortest barrel. Average is 161 feet per second. Not bad. All right, the purple blaster has the short barrel still, but it has the stronger of the 2 springs. Let's see what it does. 176 feet per second. Last, we have khaki with a long barrel and the strong spring. Let's go. 181 feet per second. See? You don't need that longer barrel with that spring. The Worker Seagull just might be my new favorite blaster. Period. The Harrier is still a beast, but you know what they say, good things come in small packages. Well, sometimes. But the Worker Seagull does almost every single thing the right way, and it seems like Worker really listens to his customers. They removed the handguard, they made the blaster smaller, they removed the built-in sights, and gave us a great pair of adjustable sights for the top rail. And they gave us an actual usable mag. Wow. Other than that, the pump action is still smooth, the trigger is still great, and the build quality is still rock solid. Rock solid. The Seagull stands right next to the Harrier with a superior sturdiness and build quality. The Seagull is insanely comfortable to use. The open pistol grip with the rubberized sleeve and the CQB foregrip are both phenomenal. But while the Seagull shares all of the strengths of the Harrier, it also shares some of its weaknesses.
All our strengths, all of our weaknesses.
There's still no way to break down the blaster without tools. And we are still having stock issues here because, in my opinion, the Seagull doesn't even really have a stock.
Nope.
Also, the fact that the Seagull was originally said to have both slam fire and quick takedown pins before it was released, it was pretty disappointing to find out that it had neither of these features. Other than that though, the Seagull is pretty perfect. If you don't have one and you never got around to picking up a Harrier, go and buy one right now. Purchase links are in the video description. The only other blaster that might be in competition with the Seagull is the Unicorn blaster, and you can check out my review of that blaster right here. Watch that video and tell me if you want me to do a versus video comparing it to the Seagull, because the Unicorn does have a lot in common with it. But as it stands right now, the Worker Seagull just might be the new best injection molded spring powered blaster ever made. It's like